again, I'm disappointed that the budget failed, but there will be another, the town meeting is the
June 18th.
the 18th, and the referendum will be July 2nd. At this point, the school requested increase has been decreased by 746,000. And the Board of Education budget for the 25-26 fiscal year represents an increase of 2.3% over last year's budget, less than $500,000. This does not even cover the 877,000 anticipated special education costs. Last week, I had the pleasure of attending the awards and scholarship ceremony. There was over $60,000 in scholarships awarded by local organizations and private citizens. This is a considerable amount for our community to give. It's been one of the largest that in my tenure here on the board. And I was very proud of all the recipients of these scholarships and awards. And it wasn't, in my mind, it was different than other years in that the fact that it wasn't the same kids getting up time after time after time. It was spread out. I mean, there were certainly some children that received multiple scholarships, but it was a wide range of kids receiving the scholarship. So I was glad to see that. And this week is the culmination of the school year. This is what everybody's been working towards all year long. Tomorrow, we will celebrate the 8th grade moving up ceremony. Yay for the 8th graders. They're finally getting their desire to be high schoolers, you know, whoopee-doo. They'll move on to another phase of their educational lives. They're now going to be big shots, high schoolers. And Friday is a superbly important day for all students. It's in the high school, it's their graduation day. Some are going on to careers, the military, and college. No matter what path they choose, it is the start of their adult lives. This year is especially special as some of our board members have family members among this year's graduates. So congratulations to the graduating class of 2025 and their parents and relatives.
Don't make me cry.
And you all did very well at the award ceremony.
Thank you.
Okay, that's all I have to say. Moving on, citizens' comments. You are limited to 3 minutes. And state your name and your address. I will recognize the floor first, and then I'll go to our Zoom audience. Yes, sir.
Pass something out first. I don't think I got enough copies. Ooh, oh gosh.
Careful.
Yep, got that. Jumping over. And need to give. And I asked that that the remarks and any supporting of the documents that are in here be entered in the public record. All right, this report highlights significant discrepancies between the Medicaid reimbursements reported by Thompson Public Schools through a Freedom of Information Act, request and reimbursement data provided by the Connecticut Department of Social Services. It also outlines steps for public accountability, further investigation, and recommendations for budgetary transparency. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, board members, stakeholders. My name is James Clark. I rise today to share deeply concerning findings regarding the handling of Medicaid reimbursements within the Thompson Public School District. Findings that reveal troubling lack of transparency, potential financial mismanagement, and need for formal investigation. The data doesn't match. According to a Freedom of Information request I submitted earlier this year, the Thompson Public Schools reported receiving $249,464.05 in Medicaid reimbursements between 2019 and the current fiscal year 2025. This amount, they say, supports the cost of services provided to Medicaid eligible students. However, records I obtained directly from the Connecticut Department of Social Services show a much higher total, $598,768 in Medicaid reimbursements paid to Thompson Public Schools between 2018 and 2024. That's a discrepancy of nearly $350,000, and that's not even including any final figures for fiscal year 25. And we are still waiting for the district to provide its 2018 reimbursements total, which TSS has already confirmed was over $137,000. On top of this, the school district is paying $10,000 per year to a third-party vendor process Medicaid claims totaling $70,000 over the past 7 years. I believe that's Relay Hub. That means the actual net benefit to the district after vendor fees is only around $179,000 across 7 years. That averages to just about $25,000 per year to support services for our most vulnerable students. Meanwhile, the DSS says nearly $600,000 was sent. So where's the rest? Accountability gaps and opaque practices. When asked where the money goes, the superintendent's response was the reimbursements are used to offset the cost of eligible services and reduce the cost to the taxpayers, but these funds are not clearly shown in the annual budget. They are buried in general offsets, which means that no publicly visible trail to track whether the reimbursements are actually aligned with what the state says was sent. To this day, it remains unclear who within the district has direct access to the account where Medicaid reimbursements from the state are being deposited. Is it the superintendent, finance manager, third-party vendor, a shared account with the town? Without clarity on who manages these funds and how they are tracked internally, the potential for misrouting, misrepresenting, reporting, and even misappropriation increases and the public trust decreases. The absence of a clearly reported traceable accounting trail raises not only administrative concerns, but serious financial ones. If nearly $600,000 in state Medicaid reimbursements. I think that's my time, right?
Yes.
I'll yield my time to him too then.
And state Medicaid reimbursements were deposited, yet only a fraction of accounted for in school financial statements. We must ask, are these funds being routed elsewhere? Could there be bookkeeping or reporting errors? Are we dealing with a lack of financial transparency or possibly even misappropriation or theft? At this point, without access logs, account reconciliation reports, or an external audit, we cannot rule out any of these possibilities. Systemic underclaiming. In fiscal year 2025, the district stated it is on track to claim services for only 40 out of the 187 Medicaid eligible special education students, a participation rate of just 21%. Why are we leaving behind 147 eligible students and the funding that comes with them? Are families not being informed or asked to sign consent forms? Is the vendor failing to process claims? Or is this a systemic failure to utilize a program that exists to support both our students and our taxpayers? Public accountability statement plus a question. Before I close, I want to briefly address something troubling that came up during private conversations with two separate members of this Board of Education. When I raised the issue of Medicaid reimbursements, one member initially told me that their knowledge the district hadn't received any. Later in the conversation, they suggested that any funds were received, they were very minimal and not worth discussing. Another board member echoed a similar position, characterizing that reimbursements is too insignificant to make a dent or matter. Let me be absolutely clear. According to records from the Connecticut Department of Social Services, Thompson Public Schools received $598,768 in medical reimbursements between 2018 and 2024. This is not an opinion, it is documented fact from the state. So tonight I ask each member of this board directly and publicly, do you acknowledge that the district received nearly $600,000 Medicaid reimbursements between 2018 and 2024? Yes or no? If any member of this board cannot answer that question clearly and confidently, then the public has every right to question whether they are fully informed or fit to oversee our district's finances. Next steps, a call for investigation. Because of the size and seriousness of this discrepancies, I will be taking the following formal steps. Submitting a FOIA request to Thompson Public Schools for detailed Medicaid reconciliation report going as far back as 2011. I will receive the reimbursement amounts from Thompson Public School records for the years of 2011 and 2018 through 2018, and I will request a copy of the RA provider agreements to verify payments. Request line items in the financial reports for reimbursements in detail and can be viewed by the public. Contacting the Connecticut Auditors of Public Accounts, alerting oversight agencies, including Connecticut Department of Social Services, Medicaid Division, State Department of Education, Office of the State
Time's up.
Comptroller.
Typically, we do not respond to citizens' comments, but Bill, I have asked Bill to do some research into this problem because you did bring it forward to us because we are aware of your FOIA requests, and I've asked Bill to look into this. Mr. Steglitz, who is our
Come to the mic.
business manager, and he has done some research into this, given the FOIA requests.
In response to the initial Medicaid reimbursement FOIA request, we worked with Relay Hub, our third-party Medicaid reimbursement vendor, to provide a response. As part of our research for the second, but similar FOIA requests for Medicaid information from the period from 8 to 14 years ago, we also contacted the Connecticut Department of Social Services directly and requested the information as a cross-check to our work. The numbers provided by DSS were significantly higher than our historical reimbursement receipts. To determine why, we worked directly with DSS and noted the following. The amounts provided by DSS reflect the total gross claim amounts filed by Thompson Public Schools for eligible services for Medicaid eligible students, not the amounts reimbursed to the school for those claims. Under the school-based child health program, many of you may think of it as SBCH, which is the mechanism in Connecticut whereby public schools pursue Medicaid reimbursement, TPS is reimbursed for 25% of the gross claim amount for eligible services for Medicaid eligible students. Although there are other elements to the SBCH program, this is the principal driver of the difference between the gross claims amounts reported by DSS and the reimbursement amounts actually received by Thompson Public Schools. To be clear, the comments I just shared were not developed solely by Thompson Public Schools or the Finance Department, but were developed with and have been confirmed by DSS.
Thank you, Bill. Does that help clear up?
Can I get a copy of that?
Sure.
Thank you.
I'll get this. Thank you. Sure.
All right. All right, any more comments from the room here? Yes,
Sally White. Come up to the mic.
come up to the microphone,
Just so that
please.
we can hear you.
Officially Sarah White, 308 East Thompson Road. If James has more in his prepared paper, then I would also yield. I don't think that anything that I could add would be as prepared. So I would yield to James if he has more. Thank you.
Okay, now I'll go to the Zoom audience. Anybody on the Zoom audience have a citizen's comment? Hearing none, we'll move on to, there are no student spotlights. They have moved on and they are waiting for graduation. Okay. The Mr. Mellon, high school report.
Point of order.
Pardon me.
I stood up for citizens' comments and I yielded my time to James.
No, he has said his piece.
You didn't ask for any more
Uh,
time.
I do have a question. May I ask a question?
No, not during
Okay.
citizens' comments. We do not entertain questions. If you have a question, you're free to ask the superintendent
Well, then I have a question.
or Bill Steglis if it's a monetary question.
So good evening, everyone. Gonna turn to some positive things. As you stated, this Friday, we are very much looking forward. The class of 2025 graduation, that's been our focus. All our prep work, the last several days, whether award ceremonies, spending time with the students at their senior breakfast. We did the Woosocks all-school field trip, which was an overwhelming success. I think the students had a really, really good time. It's really just been one awards banquet after another.
I know.
So it's this time of celebration. Students are very excited. We begin practice for graduation on Wednesday, then Thursday, and then Friday. So hope everything will go off without a hitch. And as the first year principal at Tortolot, really looking forward to celebrate this class, very special, unique class. And I'll address that in my speech. But
I'm sorry.
thank you. But really just looking forward to that graduation, a culmination of my first year, and it was really made much easier by the group of students, their passion, their energy, enthusiasm, etc. So again, that's the focus this week, graduation, and certainly the students right now are taking their final exams, including the seniors and underclassmen. So overall, it was a very good year. Ready for summer, but good year.
That's true.
Any questions?
No.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, thank you, BJ.
Principal
All
Granado
right.
is sick.
Pardon me?
Principal Granado is sick.
Okay, yes, Danielle informed me, so there will be no middle school report, right? Right, okay. So now Larry,
Lower that mic a little bit here. Congratulations once again to Merrill Snee and Barbara Lesneski for the Alumni and Personnel Exemplary Service Award. They certainly deserve that. Big shout out to those teachers. Several 5 or 6 teachers in the district graduated from OG. Great ceremony in Rice Cabbage Auditorium. Hat goes off to those individuals. Hundreds and hundreds of hours of studying, sacrifice, all to help the children of Thompson. Field Day, another success this year. Outstanding opportunity for parents to jump on board. Over 20 parent volunteers. What a great day. Kind of warm outside, but really good day. Spring concert, once again, if you attended that spring concert, you know how hard Juliana George, the elementary school teachers, and of course the students work to put on a great show. Just an outstanding time that was. 4th grade celebrated a culminating experience after the SBAC tests. They had a carnival experience on the playground, the upper blacktop playground. Kids had a wonderful time. They were just thrilled to be done the SBAC testing. Tomorrow we have the math wizards coming into the auditorium to put on a little show to teach the kids how fun math can be. And then, of course, we have Kim Flynn from the public library getting kids excited about summer reading. And that's just about it. Of course, just hats off to all of the teachers, the faculty, the staff. Just an unbelievable year, a lot of hard work, a lot of dedication, a lot of sweat, a lot of tears, but we did it. Exciting to be part of Thompson. So thank you so much.
you, Dr. Jones.
Good evening. Okay, so our total student population is 804. Of our 804 students, 204 qualify for special education services. 82 have 504s. Out of district is currently at 26. Bradley School, Wyndham County is at 15. Of the 15, 7 are our students. We're still hosting 4 other districts: Hillingly, Plainfield, Stafford, and Woodstock. Our current percent is 25.373%, slightly up from last month. Second paragraph, there's a typo by me. I apologize for that. It should say 26 students, so it aligns with the top section. We're still holding on to 6 vans to transport the students we have going out, the other 19 students. Referrals for the year. We're basically at the home stretch, but we're at 62. And just an update with CT SEDS. At the time of this report, it was 306 open positions across the state. In terms of special education, the standard cert, today it was at 311. So the most up to date that I can give you was 311. Other than that, that's it for me, unless you have some questions.
I have a quick, Kathleen, could you just repeat within the room, like the amount of money that you have been able to help save our district with special education by bringing in the Bradley Wyndham County overall,
over the
bringing in
year,
our
over the
life
years.
skills program? I think it's just really good for the taxpayers
Sure.
of Thompson to
Yeah.
hear the amount of money that's been saved.
Yeah, so it's going on 7 years, kind of came up really quickly, to be honest with you. I remember first coming here. So, just. I don't have the exact number, but it's about 405, it's about $4.5 million that we've been able to save through that partnership program. Unfortunately, due to the shortage of teachers across the state, we're not really able to lean on that program because we have
Right.
students that we can bring back to help offset some of this. So now we're looking at opportunities to take students back into the schools and kind of bypass the Bradley program as another opportunity if they kind of fit the model.
So I just want to repeat that. That's $4.5 million in how many years?
I've been here for 7,
7,
so it was about 6 years, 'cause
Okay.
it took me a little bit to get it
Okay.
up and running.
All right, I think that's wonderful information for the taxpayers of Thompson to hear.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Jones.
You bet.
Chris. Heather Burns, how are we doing in technology?
Hi, gearing up to be a very busy summer for us, as always, collecting 8th grade devices and issuing some invoices. Same thing with senior devices. We're also going to be collecting staff laptops to upgrade those this summer, and then purchasing additional laptops for children going into 1st grade and freshmen and also 5th grade. So we kind of have a circulation going of new devices every 4 years because we have to keep them up to date, so they're able to do all the state testing that they have to do. Danette's tying up some state reports. She's finalizing getting her data for the fitness state report that's due next week. I just received word that I got the check for the $12,000 grant for the Pegpedia grant that will be used to replace the AutoCAD lab in the high school over the summer. We also need to replace some cafeteria computers that are out of date, and we have a lot of upgrades to perform down at the town hall as well.
The computer or the Chromebooks
Mhm.
with the TikTok.
We did have a few of those,
Mhm.
didn't catch on fire, didn't set off the fire alarm, but they were dealt with. And
Okay, so you can fix them, and are you charging the parents?
we did charge, absolutely, yes.
Okay.
Yep.
All
I
right.
don't think they were under warranty, but yeah, we charged.
Okay, good, good. And they are actually paying.
Yes,
Okay.
those two did. They don't all, but
All right, great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Peyton's paying her bill tomorrow. It's the keyboard guard thing.
Slap
We're
on-
notified today.
Naughty, naughty. Okay, we'll stop that and that's tracks. honestly. I'm gonna call on Bill Birch. How are we doing with our project, not little project, our huge project?
Yeah, thanks for that, because it's not little by any means. So on that note, we've got the electricians started on site full-time this week.
Okay.
They've increased the staff for air temp doing sheet metal work. The control people are still working on second shift. They're here tonight. You might have seen them in the hallway. They've made quite a bit of progress, and I have to say, except for one fire alarm, they probably haven't really interfered with too much going on here at all. There will be nobody on site this Friday. They've pulled the entire crew off because they were kind of shell shocked by the fire alarm they did set off, so they don't want that to happen on Friday. But that's going well, and I think everything is gonna be on schedule there. Other than that, it has just been all about the events. We tick them off every day. We tick another one off, and we're down to 3 more days,
Well,
and that's pretty much it.
yeah. Thank you, Bill.
Well, Kathleen,
Yes.
has there been any response yet from the playground company on the broken equipment?
There has not.
There has not? Okay,
No, but when we get it, we will certainly reach out to the organization that was here that weekend and try to receive reimbursement for that. broken
so there
equipment.
was somebody else who was here that was using the facility?
Correct.
Okay.
Okay, Bill Birch. Not Bill Birch, Bill Steglitz, wrong Bill.
Bill just wanted to say,
Sorry,
another report from us.
we're slipping a little here.
Revised budget remains at 21.4 million. Year-to-date spending, we're at 18.6 or 86.6% of the budget, a little bit ahead of where we were last year at 83.4%. Year-to-date encumbrances, 2.9 million or 13% of the budget compared to 15.8 of the prior year. Currently, we're projecting spending of 21.4 million or 99.9% of the budget. We were at 99.1 at this point last year. These amounts have been adjusted to include the total special ed excess cost grant payments that we've received to date of $184,000. This leaves us with 2 departments projected to be over budget. Pupil services currently has a projected deficit of $743,000. The same drivers we've been discussing: out of district placements, RBT and related spending, special education teacher salaries, and paraprofessional expenses are the main drivers. As we've talked about in previous months, special ed transportation costs continues to provide a bit of an offset there. And ESY is still over by $122. You may notice that the $184,000 of special ed excess cost that has been included does not include the $40 million additional pledged from the state. That's
40,000.
I'm sorry, what did I say? Yeah, it's very, very wishful thinking. $40,000 of additional excess cost relief that has been pledged. We have not received it, and frankly, at this point, I'll believe it when I see it. So
Well,
I have not
actually,
included
I
it.
was on a meeting with the commissioner today, and they hope to process that check the week of the 16th of June.
Good, that would be nice
that would
timing.
help a
And at
lot.
that point, you'll see it in next month's report. So hopefully that will help us keep the district in the black. As usual, at this time of year, it's a very, very strong push to stay on the right side of the budget. We continue to scrutinize POs and try to close them down, and hoping for a little bit of a break on some of the special ed related POs, but we really don't know until honestly about mid-August, because you think about it, you need July for June's bills to come in, and you guys have all been down this road before, but we're doing our best to project accurately.
Kathleen,
Okay,
I got one.
yes, Justin.
The excess cost grant received, that's at the new adjusted rate, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so that's the 64%, not the 100% we were getting before.
Right, that's
State change.
correct.
Okay, great, thank you.
Okay, so my question is now that we're at about, let's say 24K, I like to round. To in the black.
Mhm.
And you're continuing to go through all the encumbrances to see if we can eliminate some of those
Right.
and massage them and your how close do you think we are to finishing like it zip?
We don't know.
It's
know,
still too early. I mean,
Or-
that incorporates the best information that I have right now.
Now,
It incorporates the grant funding that we have available this year. The only piece that's a potential positive that I excluded was this additional 40,000.
yeah, I can understand
that we
why.
may see.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
All right. Let me see. Shannon, you're on Zoom.
Good evening.
Anything?
I have a state report due July 1st, and we're just wrapping up this year and starting to prep for next year.
Okay. All right, then, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, the next thing on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from our regular meeting of May 12th.
Kathleen,
Yes,
I'll make the motion.
okay,
Second, Justin.
all right. Any discussion? I have a motion and a second, so any discussion on those minutes? Hearing no discussion, I'll put the motion to the floor for a vote. All in favor of accepting the minutes for our Monday, May 12th meeting, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition, say no. Any abstentions?
I was not here, I'll stay.
Okay, so the minutes pass with one abstention. Okay, I don't think we had any subcommittee meetings. No, okay. So I will turn the meeting over now to the superintendent to give us a retirement recognition.
So we have two retirements
Oh.
coming before the board this evening, and I don't know if either are on Zoom. However, the first one is from Tim O'Brien. As you know, Mr. O'Brien is a revered social studies teacher at Turtle Out Memorial High School. He has been in that department for 30 years. He is retiring to spend more time with his family, but he wanted to thank everyone on the board for his many years of employment here. He is going to be deeply missed by our faculty and staff, but more importantly, our students. And Mr. O'Brien finished his school year by being one of our chaperones to Washington, DC. He volunteered when we had a change up of chaperones, and I couldn't have thought of a better person. He said he started his career actually chaperoning that trip. So it came full circle for him. So Mr. O'Brien, if you're out there, congratulations on your retirement and thank you for your years of service.
Enjoy it, time with family.
In addition, in our food service department, Michelle Rickaby, who's been with us for many years, is also retiring this year. She has been instrumental and really a workhorse in that department. She is actually leaving the state to move down south where it's warmer to be with a family friend. So I wish her the best of luck and a nice change of weather. So Michelle, congratulations.
Great.
I'm going to move on to enrollment report, Chairman. Okay. As Dr. Jones stated, we currently have 804 students in the district. At Marriott Fisher, we have 361 students. That's a reduction of 2 students this month. At Thompson Middle School, we have a reduction of 3 students. And at the high school, we actually have an increase of 1 student. for a grand total of 204 students. As you can see, it's been pretty consistent as far as our students in QMC, Killingly, VOAG, and ACT and Alice Tech. Just for note for the Board of Ed, and I'll mention this tomorrow at moving up ceremony. I've been here 8 years. This is the year that we've had fewer students go out to any of those other schools. We only have 12 students moving on to other schools. The remaining students are staying. I think that has a lot to do with the emphasis that the board placed on developing programs at the high school. So kudos to everybody here for making those programs possible. It's certainly reflecting in our students' interest, and they're staying with us. So I am really thrilled about that. Very good. Great. It's good to hear. And then C under my report, budget cuts, discussion and approval. As you know, the board of, the town has reduced our budget through a couple of referendums. And so we have to make reductions in that budget. I have given you a proposal, I believe, total of $746,000 with a little bit more there to cover for contingency. But I've made my recommendations there. We need to have your approval to put those recommendations in place so Bill can adjust the budget.
You all have that sheet with you?
I'll make a motion to accept the superintendent's budget and costs.
Okay, Bill, do I have a second?
Second for discussion.
Okay, having a motion and a second, I'll open the floor for discussion.
I want to talk about the buses, combining buses for next year.
Okay, so I added that to
It's on the sheet,
the
right.
next
Yeah.
type of reduction, maybe recommendations if needed. We did reduce 2 buses this year, right now.
And that's gonna continue?
And that was a savings of about $17,000. I have recommended to the bus company to continue to alter the routes and stops so that we can maintain those bus reductions. The bus company also has a proposal back to the Board of Ed, which I need to talk to Chairman about having a subcommittee meeting to review that proposal. They sent me a spreadsheet. If the board wanted to entertain extending the current contract, they would go into next year's budget with a flat rate. However, that really pushes out a 10% increase for the following year and then subsequent years. So I have that data. I'm going to ask Chairman to schedule a negotiation subcommittee to look at that. And folks from DADCO will certainly be present if so requested to go over their proposal. But that locks you in for a good number of years. And that's something you really have to consider. And the fact that in the following year, then there's a 10% increase in transportation, which would be a hard nut to to swallow. So, but it's something to look at as we're looking at all reductions and being creative, but combining those buses, we're hoping is going to continue, but I have to do some bus stop changes so that the times are shortened on the other bus runs under an hour.
But it's
So
10% on a lower number.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's not 5% on the current number, it's 10% on a lower number because we eliminated 2 buses.
No, we pay a penalty for that, $75 per bus per day. That's in the contract. So it's about $13,750 per penalty per bus. So if you're looking at a bus costing $80,000 next year, you have to take off $13,500. So you're down to around $66,000 of savings per bus that gets taken off the road. We can't go below that number. There's no way because then those buses would be running more than an hour. But we are working on that. I do have a meeting scheduled, 2 or 3 meetings scheduled with the bus company so that once they do determine what those bus stops look like, I need to see them with my eyes, because some of the streets in town, as you well know, because you live here, might not be a good place for students to walk. For example, 3 rows coming across Route 12 is not a good idea, right? We don't want a large amount of students coming across that highway. The cars just go by way too fast. But those bus stop changes, I really want to see them before I make any recommendation to the board as to what we're going to do with those. So that's a lot of work this summer, but I think it would be work well done, especially if we can maintain the reduction of those 2 buses.
Yes.
I just have a question about the HR director's salary. I know she was a shared position between the town and the school. Is that a shared salary as well, or did that salary live in the board?
Yeah, so this is the savings to the Board of Ed.
Okay,
On the town side bill, I don't know what that
It's a
is.
70-30 split.
okay. I just wanted to make sure that that was just our portion. that
Yes.
was- okay. Very good, thank you.
But the net saving is 64 to us because we need to.
65, yeah, I see that, yeah. Thank you.
And remember that in this, we were creative with Math Lab. We were using the open periods for the Unified Arts teacher for next year because we reduced those 3 classrooms at Mary R. Fisher. Math Lab's gonna happen during the school day.
So we're still offering a map.
We're still offering the intervention.
Okay. I hate to see the late bus, even though there are not a lot of students taking advantage.
Kathleen, Heather.
I just have one other question. On the
Mhm.
special education budget, bringing the 4 to 5 outplay students back in district, we have enough staff to support those 4 to 5 students coming back?
Oh, I
into
wish Dr.
district?
Jones had stayed. So I gave him the charge of reducing his budget by 400,000. You know that it takes a lot of steps to meet with families,
Right.
make those plans, bring students back. He is already starting to meet with 2 families. And then he had some other recommendations for reductions for his budget. I told him I needed that 400,000 back, and really it is on the backs of bringing students with additional services back into district. He knows he has to get to that number, so he is working on it.
All right. I just wanted to make sure there wasn't gonna be like, oh, yes, we're gonna bring them, but then we're gonna need to hire 2 or 3 more paraprofessionals to make it work, and that's not in the delta, you know?
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
he'll-
But there's no crystal ball on
Right.
how a student's going to react when they come back into district,
Right.
right? And if they need more support to be successful in a least restrictive environment, he would provide that.
Okay.
Even though it's not budgeted, but definitely necessary.
No, Kristen was
Who's first?
Kristen was first, go ahead.
Sorry,
Kristen.
could you just clarify again? I know I emailed you, but about the secondary special education. So when it says transfer hours, is that like they're gonna have 2 caseloads?
Yeah, so, we had a resignation at the high school. And it caused, a current resource teacher at the high school to take on a really heavy caseload. He's managing with a lot of, after-school hours and trying to maintain those students, but clearly, needs additional help. So what we did do is we met with the middle school staff and high school staff, and 1 day a week on, I don't know how many day rotation, the middle school special education teacher will go up to the high school to service some of those students, to relieve that caseload. Not ideal, but we're just trying to be creative at this point.
Just to clarify, special education budget, that is code 9004, that's people services on our,
Bill?
Yes.
Yes.
it's 9004, correct? Okay, thank you. I just wanted, I have that whole thing about nomenclature, so.
Yep.
Thank you.
So that brings the special education debt increase to 407.
My only comment would be, if this is getting entered into the record, that we put 9004 on that line next to special education, so we know where it's on the sheet that's getting entered into the record.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
you
we
want
put
the
9
object code?
9,000, yeah, just so we know where it's actually coming out of,
Okay,
so we're very clear on it. So that's $400,000 out of 9,004.
Yes.
Mr. Steglitz, is that's correct? Thank you. Superintendent, I'm sorry, one more. You had mentioned, 1 cycle ago, that we're going down to 3 6th grade teachers this upcoming school year, and then we will have to bump back up to 4 6th grade teachers.
So,
The
so the
next-
fifth grade class is high. I haven't looked at what the impact could be on doing that. That bubble is gonna go through the system, right? The problem is when you get to 7th grade, the teachers have to be content certified. Where in 6th grade, I could have an English teacher teach social studies. When you get to 7th grade, you have to have a social studies certified, an English certified, a math certified, a science certified. So the reality is, it looks like we're gonna have to add that position back in next year.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other discussion? Yes, Jess.
In the interest of not having to have the potential issue of adding staff back in for next year, is there a way that we can offset that salary now with some other reductions? Like the subscription services for Happy Numbers and all of those, and then is there anywhere else we can go to be able to keep a 6th grade teacher and not have to attempt to add them back in next year?
Well, those class sizes will be significantly low,
Right.
not necessarily equitable across the district. That's
True.
the teacher herself
Mm-hmm.
is going to come back, which is in my rescission recommendations, in another position. So she's not losing her job.
Right.
We had a non-renewal in ELL. So she has that cert, so she's not losing her job.
Right. My only concern is if we keep her in that ELL position for next year, then we don't have potentially the staff that we need for 6th grade and for next.
Easier to find an
Is it?
K6
Okay.
certified good teacher.
Okay.
This number, the numbers that we've talked throughout this entire budget season is based on our current enrollment, correct?
Correct. I don't think right now, the kindergarten numbers are within normal registration. I thought because we had the age change, we were gonna see a significant increase and was worried that we would have to add a kindergarten teacher, but at this time, unless something happens in the summer, but at this time, we're not seeing an influx of enrollments in kindergarten.
Yeah, I think the conversation that you and I had was regarding children that live in the district but are either currently homeschooled or go to parochial school or private school somewhere. If that were to flux, if a school were to close, if something
Yes.
were to happen, we could potentially see a significant influx of students.
Just like we did when St. Joe's closed.
Correct. Right. Okay.
How many custodians are on staff?
Bill, how many custodians are on staff? 9?
10.
10. And that includes the day shift and the night shift, correct? Yes,
And one long-term sub.
in one long-term sub. So technically, the reduction is the sub position, correct? Or no, it's the retirement. It's the retirement.
Further discussion on this? So this is essentially $778,000 that we're voting to reduce our requested incomes. Which is a little more than we've been reduced by $746,000 to date. By the Board of Finance.
Only because there is literally nothing in that budget at all to fall back on if we have an emergency.
What we're looking for now is a 2.3% increase over last year's budget. Which doesn't cover our contractual costs increase. And doesn't even cover our anticipated special ed cost increases. So, even with the $400,000 reduction. But do we want to vote, you want us to vote on this piece of it now and hopefully the budget passes?
Correct.
We don't have to go digging further, which we don't have. There is no money. And we have contracts with the teachers and with well, we will have a contract hopefully with the custodians and the secretaries and. Okay, any more discussion before I put this before the, out to the floor for a vote? No? Okay, we have a motion to accept the motion to accept these proposed reductions to our requested increase over last year's budget. As stated on this, as proposed by the superintendent and the other admin and her staff. We've discussed it. We have a motion and a second, so I'll now put it to the floor for a vote by the board. All in favor? I'll do a round I'll go starting with Justin.
Yes.
Yes or yea or nay?
He said yes.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't hear you. I'm sorry, you know.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Begrudgingly, yes.
Pardon me?
Begrudgingly, yes.
Okay, well,
We're all begrudgingly.
we're all begrudging the cuts, yes.
Yes.
Okay, and chair votes yes, so it passes. We'll start here.
Yes.
Okay.
So the next item under my report, every July, we typically skip over that meeting, but I thought I'd bring it to your attention since the next referendum is going to be voted on July 2nd, whether or not you wanted to maintain the meeting that you have scheduled in July. I think it's the 14th, isn't it, Danielle?
Yeah.
Yeah.
14, yeah. The other thing I wanted to do at that, before that meeting, I wanted to have a meeting on that day is our self-evaluations. It wouldn't take long because I wanted to do Superintendent Smith evaluation before the school year started. Remember, we discussed that. Now, our self-evaluations probably take us half an hour because we really don't know what we're doing and we're just gonna skim through that. It's a practice run. For self-evaluations. And we want her goals to kind of line up with our goals. So I even though we often skip that July meeting, I thought it would be beneficial to have a short meeting prior to, like a half an hour at 6:30 and go into the 7 o'clock meeting. Probably have some things to discuss about the budget and maybe make that a short meeting also. You all agree with that?
Yeah.
It's already on the schedule.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you. I know we like to skip a meeting, but
Got work to do, got work to do.
pardon me?
If we have work to do, we have work to do.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Sure, my paycheck will be compensated.
Oh, yeah, yeah, paychecks. Yeah.
I don't know if these decisions go on to whole business. That's the only.
Yeah, yeah, that's old business, okay. Okay, we have some old business tonight, which is the rescissions. Three of that?
Three rescissions, and I don't know if you need to vote to add it to the
Motion.
agenda.
I'll make the motion to add rescission decisions to item 10 on our agenda. in old business.
I'll second.
We have a motion and and a second. Now, to add something to the agenda, I need 2/3 of a vote by all that are here. So do. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, we have 2/3.
Okay, so the rescissions are Linda Vodder. She is currently a grade 4 teacher. She is being called back because there was a resignation in grade 1. She holds a certification for grade 1. According to the collective bargaining agreement, she does have that seniority right to come back to that position. So we would like to call her back because we do need 3 first grades. Jennifer Becker, I received word from the state actually today that remember the mental health grant that we got, and it was a 3-year grant. This is upcoming, is the last year of that grant. I wanted to make sure that those dollars were really there, and so we laid her off as an abundance of caution. I received word from the state that that money is there. And it is our final year, but I am recommending calling Ms. Becker back to the guidance position at Mary R. Fisher. She is certainly a wonderful addition to that school and certainly are helping students and families, especially around mental health issues. And then Ms. Capraro, who's currently the 6th grade teacher, but does hold a district-wide ELL teaching English to speakers of other languages. As she can come in and fill the position that is currently vacant. So she doesn't lose her position. So those are the only 3 rescissions that I can make at this time from the list that you had approved a few months ago in April.
I'll make the motion to rescind for Ms. Voder, Ms. Becker, and Ms. Caperno, as noted by this.
Any discussion on this? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Okay, we have no new business. Correspondence, you have 1. We have 2, actually. Yeah, one's in our packet. It was from the Poole family.
Oh, that's the same one.
No, this is from Judy Eichner.
Oh, right. Sorry. That's me.
I can read.
I can't.
No, we have 2 pieces of correspondence. Unfortunately, last month we had 2 funerals. One was for Shirley Hoole and one was for Chris Eichner, both associated with Thompson Public School System. And we received 2 thank you cards. One was from Ray and Philip Hoole. We sent flowers to both of the families. And this one is from Judy Eichner. Thank you so much for sending the plant in Christopher's memory. The geranium just happens to be one of her favorite plants. Okay, thank you. That's that. All right, again, citizens' comments, 3 minutes. Name and address, come to the mic, please.
Yes, and see the mic first. All right,
So according to my FOIA, I did ask the FOIA for the total annual Medicaid reimbursement amounts that are paid. It was specific to the actual amount that was paid out to the school. And according to your statement, there is still a discrepancy that you guys also had. Is that correct, Bill? As it says that the numbers provided to you guys were much higher than significantly than your historical reimbursement receipts.
James?
Yep. Someone said my name?
George T. O'Neill has raised his hand.
Thank you, Chair. If I take that as being a recognition for my 3 minutes.
No, no.
No.
Oh.
No, I'm sorry.
I'm in standby then.
Sorry,
Thank you.
Mr. Clark has the floor right now.
Right, so, it does look like that. It is mentioned here that 25% of the gross claims amount eligible services, Medicaid eligible students. Even with the numbers that are provided, I'm assuming that the numbers then that you got were pretty much the same as mine. And even at 25%, then it's still a discrepancy. So we still then don't have matching numbers with DSS. Anyway, I had a closing statement to that, so I provided everybody with, what I have, what everything that I've gathered in the last 3 months. But in closing, I'm saying that, I just wanted to emphasize that this is an effort. It's not about blame, it's about accountability. I didn't begin this research expecting a problem. In fact, I set out to assist. I was told the reimbursements from DSS were minimal. I assume that claims are being denied and simply not corrected or submitted by the third-party vendor. As someone who operates a small therapy business, I know that a difference billing accuracy can billing accuracy can make. I once struggled with 26% Medicaid pass rate while using outside billers. After taking over my own clearinghouse access and submitting claims myself, my pass rate skyrocketed to 98%. And this is with Medicaid. So it made me wonder, are there similar failures that are happening, or scenarios? Medicaid claims can be denied for simply because reasons: missing parental consent, incorrect information, improper coding, incomplete documentation, or failure to correct and resubmit a rejected claim. Any of these issues left unaddressed could mean loss of reimbursements and services for students who need them most. But that's why I started this, because I was willing to help out and try to get ideas on the table as to why is the reimbursement so low. But still, even with the document that Bill read off, it does look like that there's still a discrepancy because we don't have the actual numbers. They don't match DSS. So using the format of 25% that's in his sheet that he gave me. I could be wrong, but I would like a correction. If anyone can figure that out, that'd be great.
Well, Bill is doing the research on that.
Awesome.
So thank you, James. Okay. All right, now I'll recognize you, Mr. Owen.
Thank you, Chair Hebert, Superintendent Smith, and board members. I just want a few observations after your meeting. I don't often tune into your periodic updates, but it struck me that with the budget that we're wrestling with as a town, I couldn't personally really, the burden that this group is placed upon is huge. You've got increasing requirements, rising costs, unfunded mandates really in many ways. Then you have a working population or teachers where the costs are quite substantial. Teachers are well compensated for what they do. And when I look at the numbers, in 2015, there was 1,012 students in this school system. Today, as reported, there was 804, a 208 shortfall, or 20.5%. When you look at the budget that's being proposed, that's upwards of $27,000 to educate each student. Very difficult, very challenging. And the trend, that's a 10-year trend, 2015 to present. So I don't see a bright spot of light in the future. So that's a challenge. Also, I asked my wife when we moved here 25 years ago what we were paying in taxes. It was about $4,000. Well, under the current scenario, it looks like we're going to be paying over $8,000, a substantial increase on our real estate taxes. My question to you, and something to consider as an observation, is this: when do the lines cross? Where is the inflection point for this group to make the tough decisions, whether to terminate staff, close schools, outsource it, or take some other substantial measure? Because at the current trend, unless you have a bright crystal ball in the future, I don't see a real future for this school. So I'd ask you to reflect on those observations. I don't want to belabor the points. You probably know the numbers better than I do. but I'm a taxpayer and all I see is increasing costs, the performance of the school. Well, that's public knowledge. And I feel for the students. So I ask each of you to just consider what next. You can't just keep having these meetings and trudge along without an outcome. So there needs to be a plan. Thank you very much for taking my comments.
Any other comments from the Zoom audience, please? Hearing none, any board member? Oh, yes, Mr. State your name and address.
John Brissett, Lowell Davis Road. I asked this, I don't know, months ago, and since Bill's here tonight and he dual purpose with the, the town business manager, I'd love a quote on a forensic audit. Because it's time to put to bed, it would be cheaper to outsource the school.
That's not a forensic.
And I understand that's probably a $50,000 to $70,000 number for a forensic audit. And the Board of Finance is gonna choke, but enough of this witch hunt that, oh my God, the school hides money, the school wastes money, the school pads the budget. If the townspeople worked half as hard getting the state to pay their rightful amount as they do attacking great people like Bill Stedlitz and board members and volunteers, we'd be a lot better off. If I'm not mistaken, the last study to outsource the high school was approximately $2 million more per year to the Thompson taxpayer, because the $27,000 per student is a wrong number. It's not simple math, Mr. O'Neill. Special ed is the reason these numbers are so high. So please stop using $27,000 like it's gospel, because it's not, okay? The people who are trying to attack the school need to learn the laws and regulations that the state and the federal government put on the school, not just come with fancy handouts and think you have an aha moment. Try working with the school, okay? And we would all be a lot better off. Thank you.
I'm David Ford, Board of Blaine Road. What we're asking for right now is that the Board of Finance, this be brought to the Board of Finance to be included as a line item for medical reimbursement in all future budgets. This is for transparency. We all talk about this town as transparency. We need to make it transparent. That a full reconciliation report be produced dating back to at least 2011. That the financial reports include clear annotations of footnotes explaining how Medicaid reimbursements are applied. That access to the reimbursement account be reviewed and clarified, including who manages it, where the funds are deposited, and how they are dispersed. That the school district provides a breakdown by services, PT, OT, speech, psych, reimbursement claims annually. That oversight agencies be contacted, including the CT auditors or public accounts, that the Department of Social Services, and if needed, the Office of Inspector General. A forensic audit investigation by the state of Connecticut. I've said it several times. This is what we come down to. There's not trust sitting from the Board of Education. There's only one way to remove it. It's going to be a forensic audit. I understand the expense that comes to the town, but I think it's going to be well worth it in the end, because if you guys want to clear this up and say we're all done with it, that's the only way to do it. And that's how you're going to regain trust with the town.
They pay for it.
Justin has a.
Justin has his hand.
Yeah.
Citizens comment. I do want to say I did attend the spring concert the afternoon for the elementary school. It was amazing. I think we have a district that is really pulling some things out of the woodwork to really put together some great little human beings. I know there was some emotion that was put into it. both from the student side, teacher side. It takes a lot to put those types of activities together, and I think the students in the district are getting a lot from it. In terms of budget and some issues that have been brought forth to the board, both here tonight and in the past. As a board member, I welcome volunteer help. Just as we welcome volunteer help in a classroom, in a kindergarten classroom, I welcome it, as long as it's not adversarial. If we're trying to get gotcha moments, if we're trying to get, see, I told you this was happening, that's not helpful. It doesn't promote any level of trust. It doesn't promote any level of progress forward. We, as a small town and as a small district, have transparency in our 37-page line item budget that goes out every year. And we have hours upon hours upon hours upon hours of meetings on that budget. I have said it in the past, and I will continue to say it. If those that are trying to get gotcha moments instead spent their time with us during those budget workshops, we would have a lot better progress and a lot better understanding of where we are with our budget today. Thank you. That's all I have.
Kathleen.
Just has one.
Motion to adjourn. Oh, I was gonna have my citizens comment, sorry. Can I have my citizens comment? All right, Danielle Carlson, 3 Rachel Drive. I've been taking all my notes from the packet we received, and then, so I just want to point out that these Medicaid reimbursements are 1% of the special education budget, okay? A budget that we have that is federally unfunded, or it's not federally or state properly funded. So if you want to really help the taxpayers of Thompson, we need to be talking to our politicians about funding it properly. Now, when you're, and I want to back up a sec, because I first am offended by the whole, even insinuating that we're untrustworthy people, because we're all really trustworthy people. We're doing this like volunteer work, and we're working really hard. And so I just want to first say that that was completely inappropriate, and I was appalled by it. But backing up to when Mr. Staglitz nicely gave you the answer that you were looking for, and then you come back up and you are now saying he's not giving you accurate information. It might be pennies that you're looking at. When we have a budget that costs the town millions of dollars, if not funded properly by our state. So again, if you want to help the taxpayers of Thompson, you're not going to be arguing or questioning $40,000 in requests that we requested for services. And then we got $22,000, because that's what it was. It was a request for services, and then there was a reimbursement at that percentage.
Back and forth.
So after that, if we really want to help the taxpayers, we need to be getting millions of dollars in funding. And that would be coming from us as a group, if we all work together to inform our legislators that we need a voice up here. But instead, we're going after our community members over pennies in the budget. You're here saying there's a discrepancy in the request versus what we actually got.
Still is. Still is.
Pennies in the 6 years, okay? So what I'm just saying is this is crazy and this is absurd. But I also wanted to go off of Mr. O'Neill's comment. I would hope in 25 years that your house did gather some, inflation in the evaluation, because that's what we would all hope in 25 years of living somewhere, that our house would be evaluated higher. So that's where I'm at on that. I'm tapping out.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Okay.